So guys, I got to take a stance here on what I think is one of the biggest issue in today's fitness industry. And so I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but honestly, I don't give a shit. You know, I've been getting a lot of flack recently for my fitness approach. A lot of people are like, dude, you know, your fitness information is not up to the latest literature. You're not evidence-based. It's not based on science. Why aren't you doing 10 to 20 sets per muscle group? Here's the deal, guys. For the last month, I've been traveling, which means that I've had to use a lot of different public gyms. I haven't to train in public gyms, and you guys know I train pretty much in my basement exclusively because when I was 13, I bought my public gym, I didn't buy a public gym. Bought my home gym so that I would be able to avoid all the bullshit that comes with public gyms. I don't want to have to wait for my squat rack. I don't want to have to, be faced with a lot of the crap that comes with training in public gyms. And so if I give you guys one recommendation for long-term sustainability of fitness and training, it would be to get your own home gym. Reduces the friction. You can just walk to your garage, your basement. You don't have to travel to the gym. You don't have to deal with all the bullshit. You can just put on your headphones, zone in, and get to work. You don't have to wait for anything, any equipment. It's absolutely fantastic. So if you guys if space permits, get yourself a home gym. Get a rack, get some plates, get a barbell, a pair of adjustable dumbbells. Gets the job done. That's what I've been doing since I was like 13. Once in a while I go to public gyms, but whatever, I digress. So here's what I've seen, guys. I see a lot of guys coming into the gym. They got their towel, they got that bandana to absorb some sweat. They got a big old water bottle. And the first thing they do, walk up to the bench, they grab a light dumbbell, and they start pumping out some concentration curls. And while it's slightly funny, it really aggravates me, and it actually really reinforces the whole Polarity fitness philosophy with regards to making drug-free fitness advice more accessible to the world, because that's really my mission with Polarity Fitness. That's the reason I started this, is because I see the majority of people who are natural lifters, people who don't want to juice themselves to the tits with steroids, training how the minority of people should be training, which are bodybuilders, steroid users. And this is a big fucking problem, guys. And the fact that people are so caught up in this evidence-based advice, this evidence-based information, because the reality, guys, is that this evidence-based information, it sounds sexy, it sounds good in theory, but it's just that, it's theory. It doesn't work in practice. If I tried to do 10 to 20 sets per muscle group, would I be gaining strength? Would I see tangible improvements in my physique? Little do you guys know, at the beginning of my fitness journey, I followed these bodybuilding approaches. I followed these high volume routines that relied heavily on, pumping, like light weights, being in the gym a lot, doing lots of volume, lots of sets per muscle group, lots of different angles, lots of different exercises. And so a forgotten concept, and this is really important, people no longer understand the correlation between size and strength for natural lifters. Let me ask you a question, man, and I'll give you the answer to it if you can't scope it out. Do you think I'll be gaining strength training with 10 to 20 sets per muscle group, doing tons of different angles, pretty much doing essentially what the evidence-based community science would tell me to do for optimal muscle growth? Optimal is fucking bullshit, guys. Optimal doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in fitness. There are too many variables. It's a sexy marketing term. It doesn't work in practice. Okay, so forget about that. It's absolute bullshit. Most of you who are trying to optimize your routine, you're probably not even following the basics. You're probably not even sleeping 8 hours per night. So you have no business trying to optimize your training routine. You're not even in a calorie surplus. You're eating a medium pepperoni pizza and a Coke, and you think you're in the position to be optimizing your training. Absolute bullshit. Optimal doesn't exist. Forget about that evidence-based crap. Because here's the deal, guys. A lot of these guys in the gyms that I've been seeing, they're the type of guys who are going to fall victim to what I fell victim to at the beginning, where I'd see a bodybuilder, I'd see someone with a great physique on social media, be like, oh, I'll follow this guy. This guy looks like he knows what he's talking about. Little did I know he was juiced to the tits. And this is the overwhelming issue in the fitness industry and what I strive to fix with Polarity Fitness. And so I don't really talk about this very much, guys, but a lot of my information, obviously I've taken that kind of Bruce Lee approach of taking what's useful, discarding what's not, and then essentially having what is my own, which is pretty much what everyone in the fitness industry does. Because let's be honest, guys, no one's inventing anything new at this point. Everyone's just taking little bits and pieces from here and there and putting together what they believe is to be the best approach, which is essentially what I've done. I'm a firm believer in that the newest information is rarely the best. If you want to learn about a topic, if you really want to get to the core of a topic and really understand it and know it, you got to start with its history. And so what you guys don't understand is that my fitness approach pretty much stems from the pre-steroid era of fitness. So I would study at the beginning. I still do. I still study a lot of this different stuff from the pre-steroid era. I don't keep up to date with literature and evidence that tells me that 10 to 20 sets per muscle group is optimal. Because if I tried to train like that and I was actually bringing necessary effort and intensity, I would overtrain myself. I would stagnate. I would not gain any strength on my lifts. So a lot of the information I teach stems from the pre-steroid era of fitness, the guys who were pioneering the natural route. And what did they do? They did almost exactly the type of shit that I recommend, you know, following that less is more approach, doing less exercises, less volume, but putting more intensity, more effort into it, prioritizing recovery, focusing on stringing together progressive workouts where you're gaining strength, you're adding a rep here, you're adding some weight there. This is the name of the game, man. And trust me, if you follow evidence-based advice, which is theory, doesn't work in practice. It sounds sexy. It's like the fast food of the fitness industry, and it sounds sexy, and this is why a lot of fitness companies are built with the unique selling proposition of, hey, this is evidence-based advice. This is the most up-to-date advice. Well, usually the founders are either on steroids or they're fucking tiny and they don't have an ounce of strength or any sort of mass to back up their claims. And I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, man. I've been getting a lot of flack recently. Since my video started to gain a bit more traction, a lot of people are like, but dude, this guy says 10 to 20 sets per muscle group. All right, buddy, are you gaining strength on your lifts? No. Okay, well, is your physique improving? No. Why the fuck do you think, buddy? Why do you think? People do not understand the correlation between size and strength for naturals, man. And if you start to go down this evidence-based rabbit hole, you're gonna lose sight of that. And that's what so many people have done. If I go into a gym and I see a guy pumping out concentration curls as his first fucking exercise instead of squats or deadlifts or bench or overhead press or chins, like, dude, what the fuck do you think you're gonna accomplish with this? I know I swear a lot, guys, okay? I've been getting a lot of fucking comments from people saying, dude, you gotta stop swearing. It's like, dude, it's just my style. It would be inauthentic of me to not swear, okay? I swear. If I'm passionate about something, I'm gonna swear. Try my best to limit it, man, but if I'm passionate, I'm gonna curse. It's just my style. My first word was shit, little do you guys know. Anyways, so this is the video, guys. This is the video. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but this is the reality. So I think evidence-based information, sure, it sounds sexy. It's like the fast food. It's the latest up-to-date information. But if you want to actually get to the core of a subject, if you want to actually, you know, learn where the real information is, that fucking substance, then you got to start with its history. And what I teach is from the history of training. It's from the guys who pioneered the natural fitness route. Don't fall down this rabbit hole, man. Don't end up like these guys, these little pencils who, you know, they go into the gym, they start with some concentration curls, and then they go over to the leg extension machine, and then they do some lat pull down, and they're in the gym for hours, but their physique does not improve because they're not seeing the strength gain. They're not seeing the progressive poundages. And sure, there are some little factors that throw off the ratio of, you know, strength and muscle, but time and time again, like the overwhelming proof in my case that you know, strength and size are so correlated, it just reigns supreme always, man. You know, I've gone through periods of time where I've increased the volume. I've been like, oh, let's try this like 10 to 20 sets per muscle group. Sure, I'm in the gym, I'm hitting the volume, I'm hitting the sets per muscle group, I'm doing all the angles, but I'm not gaining strength. My compound lifts, my big basic exercises are not increasing. Therefore, my physique is not improving, guys. Like, the correlation is fucking significant. It's overwhelming. So keep that in mind. Once you keep that in mind, once you understand that that's the case for drug-free lifters, you're no longer going to follow this rabbit. It's like a compass. You're going to realize, okay, I'm doing 10 to 20 sets here, but I'm not gaining strength. My physique's not improving. So that's it, man. I think evidence-based fitness advice is kind of bullshit. I think it's just a fucking marketing scheme. I don't think it has much legitimacy whatsoever. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to agree. I'm sure the older guys who have actually had time. This is why a lot of the older guys fuck with my content, because they know this shit. They know this shit. They're from this era. And this is where this shit was fucking born. This is where this shit's born. None of this new sexy evidence-based, you know, literature, evidence-based. It's a unique selling proposition. That's all it is. And this is what I strive to do with Polarity Fitness, guys. This is my goal. It's to make drug-free training advice accessible to the world. And sure, it's polarizing. A lot of people are going to fucking hate this. A lot of people do not like this because it's against the grain. But you guys, the polarizers, the guys who follow my content, you guys are going to be the ones who are going to spend a fraction of the time in the gym, but you're going to make 10 times more progress. You're going to be training how a drug-free lifter should. You're going to be packing on that mass, that strength. You're gonna have a life outside the gym as a result, because if you're training as a natural lifter should, how a drug-free lifter should, you will not be spending much time in the gym. Because recovery is important. You need recovery to be able to produce progressive poundages to get stronger over time, okay? And sure, a minimum volume is needed. It's a lot less than 10 to 20 sets per goddamn muscle group, guys. That's fucking absurd. So if you guys want to pick up my free 13-point natural muscle building checklist, I highly recommend you do so. It has the 13 fundamentals of drug-free physique building, so I'd get on that. If you guys want a full step-by-step system with a training program, nutrition, everything, the whole Polarity Fitness muscle and strength building program, then you guys got to get on the Herculean bulking program. And we'll talk soon. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.